Okay, let's talk about the coronavirus. I was preparing to do a teaching this coming Sunday night on masking, and from a biblical perspective, but looking again at all the statistics, today I got all excited because we're missing out some big things here, people. So I'm going to tell you a lot of things that I've seen on today, and I'm going to give you the links in the notes later. And hopefully they won't delete this like they do so many of my other videos on coronavirus. But if they do, I'll just keep posting it somewhere else. But I will put the links, and I will be citing CDC, NIH, Johns Hopkins websites exclusively until I tell you in my opinion. And when you hear my opinion, it's my opinion, okay? So with that said, let's begin. On the NIH website, National Institute of Health, today, I'm looking at the statistics. And what I'm seeing is we don't have a coronavirus pandemic problem. We have a chronic illness and disease problem in the United States. Because it says here on their website, older adults and people of any age who have underlying medical conditions such as hypertension and diabetes have shown worse prognosis, worse outcomes. So people with chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, or any respiratory illness are also at a higher risk for severe illness from COVID-19. The risk of contracting COVID-19 in patients with COPD is found to be four-fold higher than patients without COPD. Right, March 1st through the 30th of March, back in this year, there were a total of 180 patients on COVID-net, of which 89.3% of the patients had an underlying comorbidity. Say that three times in a row. 89.3. That means 10% of the people who contracted COVID-19 did not have a known comorbidity. And we are a nation that is just getting sicker and sicker. The more we eat unhealthy foods, the more we live in unhealthy environments and nuke our plastics in the microwave with food in them and eat unhealthy foods, the unhealthier we get. The more drugs we take, the unhealthier we get. The more we rely on the medical system, I think you will see the more we get sick. If you're seeing what I'm seeing, as a nation, we are not getting healthier. With all our fancy medical know-how, our medical knowledge, our medical procedures, and all the cutting-edge drugs and the vaccines, we are not getting healthier. We are getting sicker. Our quality of life is going down, down, down. Also on the NIH website, 94.4% people were age 65 and older who got the COVID-19 had at least one comorbidity. So the older you get, it's like you're either rusting out, right, or you're burning out. And frankly, I'd rather burn out than rust out. But a lot of us are rusting out with all this diet and with our complacent and our lethargic lifestyles. 94.4% of people 65 years and older. I'll be 60 this year, so I'm not quite there, but they had at least one comorbidity, and the most common comorbidities found were, survey said, number 1, obesity, number 2, hypertension, high blood pressure, and number 3, diabetes, too much sugar, too many things that attack the pancreas, too many problems with our diets. Because in my opinion, this is my opinion, and through the years in medical clinics I've worked in, I have seen diabetes reverse with diet. and sometimes with some heavy metal chelation, and every case is a little different, but think about that one. Here's a quote right out of this article from the NIH. It says, however, patients with comorbidities have more deteriorating outcomes compared with patients without. COVID-19 patients with a history of hypertension, obesity, chronic lung disease, diabetes, and cardiovascular disease have the worst prognoses and most often end up with deteriorating outcomes such as ARDS and pneumonia. Also, elderly patients in long-term care facilities, chronic kidney disease patients, cancer patients are not only at risk for contracting the virus, but there's a significantly increased risk of death among these groups of patients. Well, where do you fall in that? You know, health is a spectrum. You start out in your 20s way up here, you can defeat the world, you can drink a beaker of mercury, I don't know, and survive it. And now, all through the decades and the years, your health settles and drifts until disease shows up. And then COVID-19 hits and you can't survive it. It's not the COVID-19 that kills a majority of people, it's the comorbidities. CDC in July said the median age for COVID-19 related deaths was 71. It means you take all the deaths from 99 years old down to 1-year-old, average them out, 71 years of age. 70% of these people being over 70. 80% of all the COVID-related deaths were over the age of 65. And kind of interesting, more men die than women from COVID-related deaths. March 16th or thereabouts, I remember, let's flatten the curve. You know, the ICUs are going to be overwhelmed. Well, I've worked with pediatric ICU before, and they tried to keep their beds 90% full, right? So that just left 10% for emergencies. So think that one through when you hear about ICUs are getting full. Well, they don't run them empty, people. But they said, let's flatten the curve, right? The curve is going up, up, up. And this was a strategy. And Johns Hopkins confirmed new cases were on the rise. And then on their Johns Hopkins website today, it shows a 40% drop in cases from July through mid-September. Mid-July through mid-September, we've had a 40% drop in cases. Now they're testing all over the place, and a lot of these tests are coming up with asymptomatic. You know, they don't have symptoms. Well, that's crazy. Why do you even want to be treated if you don't have symptoms? But they're finding them because employers are going like, yeah, well, let's see. We want to make sure we're protecting all the people coming into the store. I know a nanny, a professional nanny, they have her checked every few weeks because they don't want her giving it to their kids, which kids have a really awesomely low morbidity rate. And any death is bad, of course. But since mid-July to September, there's been a 40% drop in cases. I think we flattened the curve, people. But have they gotten rid of masks? Have they let up on the shutdown? They have tightened it up because we put up with it. Now, I understand loving thy neighbor and being loving. In fact, growing up, I was the oldest of 8 kids, and if one of us was sick, we didn't go visit grandma. We used our sense, our good God-given sense back then. But apparently, now you can't go see your grandma in the nursing home because of the threat of COVID-19. And because of things like that, the mortality rate for dementia disorders is jumping through the roof. All right, the depression, cases of depression and treatment for depression are Up, 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 up. Deaths by suicide. Up, 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 up. There's got to be a point of diminishing return here, people. Well, so, CDC website today, in mid-September shows April 18th, the week's high of deaths. April 18th of 2020 was 17,000 deaths in 1 week. September 5th, they recorded 3,500 deaths, which is still a lot, but that's 5 times less deaths. And this week of September 19th, we're 6 days into this week, in this week's reporting, and granted the numbers are going to come up over the next few days as more deaths are recorded, but 6 days into this week, we have 425 deaths. I think we flattened the curve, people. Now let's talk about immune memory. Immune memory, because here's the thing. The vaccine's going to save us. No, it isn't. The vaccine will not save you. Okay, people, it just won't. Vaccines have not saved humanity. I've written about this. I've got links on my Real Health Talk website, realhealthtalk.com. Just look under vaccines. And I've got actual CDC reports, WHO reports on disease curves and when they introduced the vaccines. And actually in polio, they introduced the vaccines in certain areas and they had a spike afterwards. But you have to do your own research, okay? So just don't take my word for this. But you can go to my website, realhealthtalk.com, and you can open up the vaccine article link, and you can find all of this stuff, and I've documented so much of it. Immune memory can be very long-lasting. If you've had COVID-19, you now have immune titers against COVID-19. All right, that's just the way it is. Nobody can get around that. The vaccination immune titers, I don't think they're going to be as strong. I don't know because I haven't seen it. I haven't seen the results, but there is no vaccine out there before today that gives you the same immunity that the natural immunity gives. Okay, so immunization vaccination is not immunization, okay? Immunization means you have immune titers that effectively fight that disease. I have immune titers for the cultured variety of polio because I got, guess what? The cultured variety of polio back in the 60s. Immunological memory for measles infection in adults decays so slowly. Get this. It decays so slowly, it would take over 3,000 years to decrease by half your immune titers. Now, interestingly though, the common cold, the immune titers fall off drastically after 45 days. And then those immune viruses mutate and they go around and around. SARS was a virus that came through, in 2002, 2003. It was a one-trick pony and it died off very quickly. And I read, but I don't have the link. So don't delete me for this, you fact checkers. But I believe I read a report where it said people who had SARS back in 2002 had immune titers that helped prevent COVID-19. Right? So when you get sick with COVID-19, the first thing to show up is IgM, immunoglobulin M. There's 5 major immunoglobulins, and M is one of them. There's IgE, that's if you eat the shellfish, you have the immune reaction and your throat starts to swell up and you got to get the epi shot right away. That's IgE, immunoglobulin E. Well, IgM starts showing up within 3 days of contracting the coronavirus. So the first 3 days, basically, you're likely asymptomatic if you get symptoms at all, apparently. And then for the next week to 10 days, let's just give it a grand total of 14 days, but somewhere between 10 and 14 days, your IgG, which is immunoglobulin G, shows up in a large quantity. All right, now that IgG starts to strip the virus proteins, and you go from shedding active virus that spreads the infection to shedding inactive virus that does not spread the infection. And you know what happens when you come in contact with that inactivated virus? Your immune system says, wow, look what's coming down the road. But we've social distanced, we've been masking, our immune systems are growing weaker. People, a healthy immune system is a challenged immune system. If you put a child in a bubble, you can never let them out of that bubble. And we are starting to live in a bubble, people, and it's not good. Do you know that married couples, both of their immune systems, when they combine, when they come together as a married couple, and they're sharing all their goobers and all their cooties, that both, the husband and the wife, both have stronger immune systems for it. So, living in a bubble is not going to help. Understand, though, comorbidities is the real villain here. And if you are sick and getting sick and weaker, stop it. Do something to make you stronger. Quit eating the sugar. Quit sitting around on the couch. Get rid of the gluten causing the inflammation in your body. Find out what's killing you. Or put up with your comorbidity. Yeah, well, I've got diabetes, so bring me the remote control. I might as well get comfort. Oh, honey, while you're up, bring me a beer. Might as well get comfortable. Instead of getting up and doing something about it. If we were strong, or if our immune systems were strong, if we didn't have the comorbidities that killed us, this wouldn't be a great big deal, people. In herd immunity, the original model for herd immunity was 60%. Now they've stretched herd immunity to be 90, 88 to 90%. But oh my gosh, herd immunity is a real thing. And masking is not going to get us there. In fact, I don't know that masking, personally, I don't know that in the end of all of this, when they ferret through all the information 10 years from now, when they look back, I don't know if masking has really helped us. I don't know if social distancing has really helped us. I don't know. History will tell. History will play it out. So IgM shows up right away within about 3 days, and then our immune systems inactivate the virus as we're producing our IgG antibodies. By day 14, the virus we shed cannot infect others. It has been inactivated. Now it'll still show up in some of the tests. Ooh, COVID-19 90 days later. Well, I want to know, is it an active form that can infect others, or was it the inactivated form that warns others? That's what I want to know. When your immune system gets a whiff of what's going around, it starts to get ready, starts to prime. Vaccines don't work that way. You stick the vaccine in the muscle. That's not the way you get disease. You get colds and you get flu and you get viruses by getting them through your mucous membranes, through your lungs, and it enters your body naturally, and your immune system mounts its defenses that way. Okay, not through your muscle. When you stick it in your muscle, now your body goes, it's in the muscle, we got to get rid of it, and it mounts a huge defense to pull it out of your muscle. That's crazy. That's not good. That's not the best way. That's not how viruses work. They don't enter through your muscles. So in my opinion, get this right, this is my opinion. Take it or leave it, like it or not. My opinion is social distancing and masking is actually hurting us. And it's hurting the generally healthy community in unimaginable ways. While we mask and distance to protect the vulnerable. Instead of going to the vulnerable and saying, hey, let's get your diet fixed. Let's get you healthy so your immune system can handle pneumonia, so your immune system can handle the seasonal flu, so you don't have to isolate. So where's the balance? We haven't found that yet, but we're going to have to. A strong and healthy immune system is what we all need to survive this. That's what we need to survive in this life. You know, living in a protective bubble is only going to hurt us in so many other ways. It actually weakens our immune systems overall, my opinion. Take it or leave it. Or delete me, because of cancel culture. Well, so that's some of the stuff I was working today, and I just got excited, because I'm kind of excitable. And you know, these are perhaps the most interesting and most amazing times to ever be alive in all of the whole universe of time. Now is the greatest time of all to be alive and to be healthy, right? So we want to be healthy, we want to stay healthy. If you're not healthy, find out how to get healthy. And then this won't be a problem. Okay, then every little virus, every little thing comes along, it's not going to kick your butt. Okay, and then grandma and grandpa are going to be healthy too. Everything's going to get better as we get better, as we build healthy immune systems. All right, well, God bless you, and we'll see you all Sunday night if you want to hear the Bible version of masking. Sunday night, Western time at 6. See you later.